Hello and welcome back to 7 Days to Die. So, today we are going back over towards the trader, and we're going to follow some of the paths leading off of this road, and see what's around here. And off screen I prepared some things around the base, dug out the 2 tiles that I said I would, and filled this in, so now I don't have to deal with zombies doing anything weird with the ground. I might even extend it a 3rd tile around. I'm not totally sure. I'm not sold on the idea of going a 3rd tile, but it could prove useful. But yeah, so check the forums today, and apparently the console team is still working on an update, and they've yet to give a release date as of me recording this. Which, I understand. We don't know the size of the console team. It could be 3 guys, it could be a ton of people. The thing I find annoying is we haven't had an update at all this year. So, as of recording this, 7 months. And it makes me wonder what's going on. Because they said, oh, we're porting the game to Unity 2017. And to me, that's fine. But it makes me question what's taking so long. It's not like they were porting this from Unity to Unreal, or using, there's some engine on Steam you can buy that uses Lua. It's not like you're doing that. Not like you're switching languages. You're quite literally just updating your game's engine. For the most part, this game should run just fine. You might have to make tweaks here or there and test a few things, but it's not 7+ months with no determinable date of release. Even with giving us update 16. It just seems like it's a very odd way of going about things. And I just get irked by it. And I get it, game design is a tough field. As someone who knows how to make games, it's tough, it's annoying. Coding alone makes you want to die half the time, because you spend, 3 hours staring at line upon line of code, screaming, "Why don't you listen to me?" And then you have someone else walk up, look at it in an instant, go, "Oh yeah, I'm missing a semicolon there," and you just feel your soul attempt to leave your body. But barring that, it shouldn't be this difficult when you have a team. And it shouldn't take this long. Unless you have just an abysmal team, or an extremely small team. I am 23% wet by stepping in this. I really wish the Fun Pimps would have done a different engine. I get it. Unity's nice, it's easy to work with. But Unity honestly sucks. I know people who praise it left and right and constantly pull out Cuphead as, the example of, hey, you can do good with this engine. But my complaint with that has always been, Cuphead is a very linear shooter. It's a side-scrolling shooter. If an engine can't handle that, then it's probably a bad engine in the first place. And if you break down Cuphead, it's your basic side-scrolling shooter with actually a number of load screens. Most of the focus is on the art, which isn't bad. You can have games that are more artistically oriented than anything. Hey, leveled up. But so that's just my little gripe. You know, it's an engine... I see it as like the training wheels of an engine. It's great for starting out, but you can't do, I think, as much as a game like this needs. A game like this, I'm not gonna sit here and shill Unreal and be like, oh, it's the best option. No, it may not. A game like this follows a very similar format to Minecraft. And that game did pretty well without, like, some big, beefy, multi-million-dollar engine shoved behind it. And that's the thing, is at least that game was able to be a bit more modular in how things were done. This engine is very limiting, I feel. So to try to make a random gen zombie survival game, you're kind of setting yourself up, if not to fail, to at least struggle in ways that aren't necessary. I mean, it would be like trying to use, like, Source 2 and make a zombie game, like, survival game. Yeah, you could, but why? And even that, when I say it, there are engines that are... There are engines that are good, there are engines that are bad. Every engine, I think, is good at something. Nope. Leave me alone. And I just feel like, for this, Unity isn't the engine. I think Unity was used for Unturned, which worked out just fine. Unturned doesn't need to keep track of the health of every block. It doesn't need to randomly gen. It doesn't have to do a ton. This does. You can tell we're doing pretty good in terms of looting, because I can just go off on a tangent and not really focus too much. This house hasn't been touched. Originally I was planning to go over to past the strip club, but I remembered I got these places in the area, and I might as well clear out everything nearby before I start monkeying around with crap further out. I'm already full up. I can't say I'm mad, just a little annoyed at a lot of its clothing. Is that everyone? Okay. So if anything, that isn't everyone. Now it's everyone. But if anything, I will just run all this stuff back home. Because home is just there. It's not... This is a decent distance, but not too far. Plus, I'm kind of hoping I can find, through the good grace of someone, I can find a engine. Because I really need an engine before I can do much. Or at least do more. Because I could make, like I said, run to the strip club and beyond. But I would like a bike at this point. Or I could make a trip into the wasteland. But I want a bike. Or armor. Either or. Either way, it's stuff I don't have. I might just nut up, build some iron armor, and just make a run. It'll be dangerous, but I just need to make a crossbow. I've got enough ammo to be able to survive. I just like having a bike because then I can store stuff. I wish we would get the newer updates for PC, because I think PC's getting dangerously close to getting multi-seat vehicles now. And I would kill for multi-seat vehicles. Alright, so since I can't really loot anything, I'll be back. Alright, so now we can continue clearing out this house. I do get that sometimes watching looting is boring, but it's part of the game, and without it, it's just me fighting zombies. And one problem I have is I play this like I would DayZ, or essentially DayZ is all I've really played for zombie survival, because H1Z1 looked pretty bad. It was interesting at launch, and then they just jumped into the Battle Royale stuff and never really supported their original selling point. But so, actually, now that I think about it, like, that is an issue. People feel like the zombie survival genre is just inundated, and it's been flooded and overdone, and there's nothing new to take from it or do. But in reality, there's a ton you could do. I mean, look at how DayZ is. Either the mod or game I have standalone. I bought that game on release and I only have a few hours put into it. It's bad. It just keeps going pear-shaped every time they do something. But that's with a relatively small team. Imagine if, you know, Ubisoft or EA or Activision. I was trying to think of, like, who else is there. Essentially any of those three decided, hey, we're going to publish a zombie survival game. And I'm talking AAA, sticks to the core of what zombie survival is, game. That has the potential of being amazing. Say what you will about EA, Activision, even Ubi, that has potential. A lot of it. Because that's a lot of money that can be put into the game that, you know, your standard small team can't have. Even when they have, you know, tons of sales and the developers have Patreons and crap, it's not the same. And I mean, that's something I never understood, is we had, like, Quicksilver publishing Dying Light. But it was never really zombie survival, it was more of, do you want to do parkour while zombies try to kill you? And we never have had a solid, well-backed zombie survival game. I mean, look at, like, Survive the Nights. You could probably get that in a quarter of the time with far more into it from a large studio that's backed by a big publisher. We could actually get, you know, a solid zombie survival game. But we don't. Instead, we get 8 billion, you know, MOBAs and Battle Royale games and other genres that have been actually inundated and have failed. Which is honestly the funniest thing to me, because it seems like they chase the... I'm trying to think of how to describe it, or word it properly. They chase the trends that are already finished. Like Overwatch. When everybody's like, oh, we're gonna do a hero shooter, and it's like, why? What do you offer that's different? Battleborn offered build diversity, except there wasn't a lot of build diversity. I'm trying to think what other studios offered. Like, there's so little that... Kill zombie cops? Okay. Get around to that whenever I go to the city. So, there were things that were unique that were offered, but they didn't do the rest of the game well enough. Same as Battle Royale. I mean, how many games have pumped that out? We've had... I remember Battle Royale games, you know, back in the day, seeing Minecraft mods of Battle Royale. That goes to show how old this idea is. That you had old Minecraft YouTubers doing this, and you could even sit there and say before that, like, any shooter like Halo, you have a single life, that's essentially Battle Royale. Single life, spawn in, grab a gun, pray you don't die in a heartbeat. It's an idea that's existed for so long that I'm not surprised that that genre's already peaked and I think is already on its way out. What can we eat that can reduce hydration? So that's kind of what we need to chew up some of this water. And we're full. Don't get me wrong here. I'm not sitting here just getting salty over games being following trends. My big thing is, why would you try to jump into a trend that you already know is secure? I mean, when it's still kind of up in the air, you can have success. Look at Smite. Smite went into the MOBA market, I feel, relatively late. They did fine. I mean, hell, they have world tournaments. Or world championships. That's a pretty good sign for a game if you can do that and, you know, not have issues. I think there's a lot of games out right now that the devs wish they could have gotten to the point where they could do worlds without having the game just implode on itself. Alright, we're ripping up this stuff. It's not worth the cloth that was used to make it. I will take that gun. And what can I get rid of? Cannot drink the can of stock. We will wear the duster. Yeah, I just think games need to be a bit more cautious in jumping onto the latest and greatest trend. Oh, that's a lot of zombies. Yeah, we'll fight them, why not? There hasn't been a lot of zombie fighting in this episode anyways. Though that does remind me that the, what is it? For people who follow games on Steam, remember the game Moving Hazard? The devs essentially rebranded that game and re-released it as, what is it, Dead Alliance? Which is disappointing because the idea is actually kind of interesting. Like, hey, we've got a shooter with zombies in the middle. And this should, in theory, work. But the problem I found with the game, other than being a very unstable game, is the fact that they tried to weaponize, or they have a gear and weapons that weaponize zombies, and I think that's where it starts to kind of go south in my eyes. Because it's just me, but I feel like if you're having zombies in the middle, they need to be a universal threat. Instead of just like, oh yeah, throw your super fancy sci-fi Walkman at the zombies, and it'll make them not attack you. Stuff like that, I feel like, really just diminishes the threat. And there should be almost an Army of Two style aggro meter, where, depending on your actions, it changes, and zombies might be more drawn to you than someone else, depending on, what you're using. If you're using, a Barrett Light 50, you're going to draw more attention than the guy using, the suppressed M9. I think that would be better, because Call of Duty even managed to pull this off. With the... God, I don't even remember what it was called. It was a couple months ago, but they had like Horde Point, which was Hardpoint with zombies that spawn and attack everyone. And I thought, oh, that's really neat. And that's a cool idea, because you can't work with the zombies. And that's how any shooter utilizing zombies should be. I think that is part of the reason Umbrella Corps failed, but I think part of the reason Umbrella Corps failed is because they also tried to microtransaction literally everything for that game. Please die to nutshots. Can I just, yes I can. Beat you with my bone. But Umbrella Corps, I feel like that game, I think people should pay attention to, not because of quality, but as an example. Don't take franchises and go hog wild with them in a different direction. Stick to what they're known for. Operation Raccoon City. Operation Raccoon City, for example, being close to its core, close to what its source material, Yeah, it wasn't fully, your standard Resident Evil fare, but it was closer than Umbrella Corps. Considering Umbrella Corps was just, for people who never bothered, imagine CSGO, but not. Its story missions consisted of play multiplayer modes against AI repeatedly on the same maps. Which, yeah, Titanfall does that, but at least Titanfall has story. Man, this is just the negativity episode. I don't want it to be, it's just, this is kind of where my topic is gone. But I don't think I'm too unreasonable, you know, stick to your core. Do something that the people aren't doing right now. Make your game good. And don't make really stupid design choices. Yeah, I cleared the house. All the zombies had to stop for a second. I was like, did I clear this place, or am I just insane? You know, I'm just gonna hack up the rest of these off screen, go back home, and we will go to the next place. Okay, so we got the path leading up to the next place, but, as you can see, we have an airdrop. So I'm gonna go do the airdrop. Because I might get cool stuff. I don't know what, I'm hoping a gun. Like a completed gun. Or even a guide to make shotguns. I'll take it. I don't know who puts bullet tips and grain alcohol on a stump. How far out did this land? Didn't seem too far. Should be just over this hill. Yes? Yeah, it's gotta be just over this hill. There's no way it's gonna be further than that. Take the chrysanthemum. I don't know if I have any at home. My memory's spotty, and I figure I'll take it. Okay, how far is this? Seriously? Oh, it's over on the other road. That's... I mean, it's not, like, unbearably far. I just thought it was closer. Probably should have checked my map. Oh well. Can't wait for update 16 to drop on consoles, though. Towns will spawn a bit more organically, so they won't just be like, here's a 6 block by 6 block rectangle, it's the town. If I remember correctly, they'll spawn in a bit more of a believable manner. You know, there might be a couple blocks north, there might be a bit of an intersection. I really don't need cotton. Well, on the plus side, at least it didn't land in the wasteland. I would have been pretty angry if it did. I'd make the run, but... And I get... Okay, the antibiotics are nice. Rocket launcher receiver? I have no practical use for this. Beaker, already got one, so... I think I can sell it? Might have a use for it. Crappy AK stock. I mean, it's not trash. If I was going to say something's trash, it's definitely the rocket launcher part. But I don't remember if I can make AKs. And even if I can make AKs, I need other parts. And on top of needing other parts, I need, I believe, 7.62 rounds. And if I'm going to use 7.62 rounds, I'd rather use them in a hunting rifle. Still love that this happens. go about this way. But yeah, like the AK... I don't know, if they changed ammo drops, or made it easier to make ammo, something like that, sure. I wouldn't care. I mean, they're already reworking guns so that when you find a gun, you find a solid gun. Which I'm going to appreciate greatly. I just hope that they then, in turn, buff the blunderbuss. Because at that point, I will be able to find far more and far better guns than the blunderbuss. And the blunderbuss is quite trash. I mean, considering I have to use gunpowder, I might as well just make shotgun shells. Yeah, I don't have to have a book, but if you play like me, you play very... I would say I play slow. Both in terms of developing my base, and in terms of just how I am. I'm not... As much as I've tried to streamline how I play, I'm not as fast and loose as some people are, where they can just fly through it. They're, you know, level 30 on day 4, because they found zombie hordes and they just go flying in, slapping everyone to death. But those are also, you know, the guys who play, you know, warrior difficulty, or they have mods that allow them to, you know, boost zombie spawns like 500%. So every alleyway looks like the entire population of Raccoon City just shuffled into one tiny area. It's like a Black Friday sale at Walmart. $50 off TV, everybody gets trampled to death. I make that joke, but I hate the fact that that's reality. Water tower. Okay. Trash can has oil. I mean, it's not trash, but it's trash. Maybe a gun? No, an iron reinforced club. It's lower level, which kinda sucks. But I'll keep it because I could potentially sell it. And if I can sell it, that's worth how much money roughly? 25 bucks, really? Damn, at that point I might as well just keep the stupid thing. Hey, this path continues. I love how I look at this and I'm like, does this continue? I have to pull up the map just to make sure. I do wish some of these little point of interest roads, they would just say screw it and add more small towns. Because I find small towns a lot more appealing, and if I could find, you know, a couple more small towns, even if they're, you know, 1 block by 1 block, or they're a 2x2 or even a 3x3 block town, I'd be cool with that, because then it's more stuff for me to explore, more content for you guys to take in. It's a little more believable than just like running down a road and it's just like, hey, you want to see a ranger tower? There's like 8 along this road. Don't worry, we have paths leading to these nice cabins and like 6 shacks and a water tower. It just comes off as very odd and out of place. That's probably the best way to put it. Okay, where is this going? And stuff like this is what I find bothersome, is just like these long roads that lead to one of the crappy shacks. Actually, this isn't a crappy shack, it's got a bookshelf in it. I'll admit, I'm trying to use melee a little bit more than normal. just because my melee skill isn't that good. And this way I can level it. We'll take them. They're rippable. Okay, everybody. Come to the front door. Line up in a neat, orderly fashion, and I'll smack you. Unless you're one person. Nope, you're two. My dude. Oh, wow, he did. When your head spins all the way around, I think you're dead. It's sellable. I can use the glue, I need it, actually. Yeah, we're breaking down a wood club. Since this path ends, I'm probably gonna... I think I'll double back, follow this, and then call it there. Since this has been a good run, I mean... I haven't gotten anything, you know, worth writing home about. But that being said, I haven't found, you know... I haven't been just flat out screwed. I got stuff I can use... And that's really all I can ask for. Oh, now that I thought about it, I also bought the concrete mixing and one level of steel mixing and the workbench. So I can start kind of rounding out what I need left in my base. And at that point, we gotta be good. And with that, I will see you at the last location. Alright, and now we have one last cabin. Yeah, what would you consider this? Is it a cabin? Is it more of like a woodland mansion? Do they really even have mansions in this game? Because, like, they don't have any really big, discernibly huge homes. The most they have is... they have the house with the swimming pool, which I usually refer to as the mansion. Otherwise, there's nothing of mansion size, I would say. Hey, I already have that. But I will read that for the science. Mostly because I need to level up science, and I really don't look forward to actually sitting around and trying to level it. So I'd rather just do this, you know, the somewhat easy way. And if I remember correctly, you don't get XP for leveling up skills that way. Same as buying the skill points, but I can always just kill stuff and get XP. But on my way over to this place, I realize this game is missing something. And that's common melee weapons. Like, stuff you use and, for the most part, just throw away. Like baseball bat. Why are there no baseball bats? Why are there no... really anything like that? No simple, like, standardized hatchet. There's no... I mean, they have like the iron axe and steel axe are, in essence, the fire axe. But why do I have to go into the... Why do I have to make these? Why can't I find these a little easier? Make them low quality. But give me, like, fireman zombies. Give me stuff like that where I can find things that you should be able to find. Like, thinking about it, just, like, not having football pads for your torso. That threw me off. I was like, okay, we have a football helmet, but why nothing else? Why do we not have, you know, a Kevlar vest that gives us... Let's see what the stat is. Puncture. It would most likely be puncture resistance. Why don't we get Kevlar? We have BDUs, which is appreciated, but we don't have, you know, bulletproof vests, we don't have SWAT armor. Like, maybe a helmet is in the game, but I don't remember fully. But it's very... It's the staples of zombie games that this game is missing, and I find that very peculiar. Because it just feels like the devs are focusing on really random things. Like, last I checked, they said, oh yeah, we're making it so, like, all the houses that you normally just kind of loot and go through are now going to be more like mini dungeons. And I thought, oh, that's neat. But why? You know, why is this a focus? I get, you know, revamping old content. I'm never against, you know, sprucing up old stuff. But I feel like that should be more of a tertiary thing that's done over time. But that's just me. And you know, with that said, and actually this road now cleared, I'm going to call it here. So, if you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to hit the like button. If you are new, please make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.